Do you believe in astrology? Do you use that to sort of help you make decisions, or you're just we're having fun, having her
Yeah.
read you?
Oh my God, I totally believe in astrology. And Amy was actually one of the first people to like really get me into it. And every year I always get a reading from her because I'm like, okay, we can conquer, we can do this. It
And
really helps, you know?
I was curious if you think it's been something where you've seen actual tangible things that she's predicted.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, in the moment when she reads it, sometimes I'm like, oh, Amy, I really hope that's not true. I don't know if I believe that. And then by the end of the year, I'm like, yep, Amy called it.
Wow. All right.
So
Well,
now trust me, I definitely do believe her.
that's very interesting. Yeah, I just started having her do my readings, and I'm not sure if I fully believe in it yet, but I'm going to see where it takes me. But it is very interesting, that whole thing.
It's so interesting.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about who Tumi is before the girl that we know on the screen. I know you were born in South Africa. Can you talk a little bit about your childhood?
Yeah, so I was born in Johannesburg, South Africa, which is probably like our New York of Africa.
Mhm.
I grew up there my whole life, stayed in the same house, the same area, went to one school, have a group of friends that I've had for years and years and years. So we had a pretty good life back there. Grew up with a garden, grew up with animals, you know, so it was a really good life.
And do you come from a big family?
I do. I do come from a very blended family as well. So I've got like six siblings,
Oh,
two
wow.
stepbrothers, one half sister, one adopted sister. It's a lot.
Wow. Okay. And are you still close to everybody? Are they still there? Did they move to America also?
Yeah, I've got two brothers that are here in America, and my sisters are back in South Africa.
Okay. So I know you've spoken a little bit in a confessional about something a tragedy that happened when you were younger. Can you talk about what it was
Yes.
like to lose your father?
I guess at that age, it was super confusing because it was so sudden. It wasn't something that I think any of us expected. And it's just crazy because sometimes with death, like everything just changes overnight.
Mhm.
And so it was pretty hard in the beginning, but eventually, you know, life goes on and you kind of get used to the new normal.
Mhm.
But at first, it definitely was a shock to every single one of us, including the community.
Right. Well, you found out. It sounded like you were about to have a dance perform, some sort of performance, right?
Yeah, so I was actually on that topic. I was a lead, my first lead in my ballet concert.
Wow.
So without me, there wasn't really a show. And you know, we were really young. I think we were like 7, 8. It's not like they have like someone on the side that can fill in for you.
Right. There wasn't
So
an
it was a
understudy.
yeah, exactly. So it was a bit of a you know, it would have been it just they wouldn't be a show. And I would remember just being so excited. It was my, you know, my first time and I loved ballet. I took it so seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah, that day was my first show.
Wow. And for people that don't
Yeah.
know what we're talking about, can you explain what happened to your father? Because it was sudden and it was a
Yeah.
complete tragedy.
Yeah. So my dad was murdered. It was an apparent hijacking. And he ended up in hospital for a couple of days, but when they decided to pull the plug, that night was the night that I had to go perform my ballet concert. So, I mean, you know, I didn't have to do it, but at the same time, I was like, this is something that I have always wanted, and I was so excited about it. And I also didn't want to let people down. Um, yeah, so I ended up
Yeah.
dancing. But you know,
So
dancing
did
at
your
the same time as therapy. Now that I look back at it,
Mhm. Yeah,
it
for
probably
sure.
wasn't the worst thing to do.
No, it was probably, took your mind off of it and it made you feel like you were doing something for you. Did your family show up
Yeah.
for you or were they at the hospital? Like what happened?
No, they were at home. I mean, they had to be at home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
I had more than one show.
Mhm. Got it.
So, you know, the
And
other shows, they were there.
how do you think that affected you? I mean, listen, I'm somebody who my father also died when I was 15. my headmaster at my boarding school had to tell me, "You are much younger than
Yeah.
me, but I know what that is like to lose somebody." It was a very sudden, tragic thing that happened. So to hear something like that
Yeah.
when it's completely unexpected as a child, for me, I know that that affected me. It affected my relationship with men going forward. It really
Oh, yeah.
affected me. So I'm curious, what your, how that affected you.
Yeah, it completely changed me forever. I truly believe if you lose a parent at any age, there's a part of you that completely changes, and it's almost like you lose a part of yourself.
Mhm.
I think, and I didn't realize the effect until I was about 18 when I left home, because I left home at 18 and went and lived on my own. I went to another city. I started a whole, I went to college, I started a new life. And I was like, holy crap, like I actually do need my dad now because now I'm meeting boys. It was easier not to like entertain the men thing in high school. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like I don't know to like decipher between if a guy is being serious, if they're being truthful, if they're genuine, if they're not, if they really love me, if they don't, because I was like robbed of that experience. So
Yeah.
it definitely changes you.